Hey y'all, welcome to Monday Magic. It's Allison Renee, your ELA coach, here to give you some research-based instructional strategies that you can use with kiddos. Today, we're going to talk about independent reading. We're going to explore what it is and why it's an integral component to your ELA classroom. So what is independent reading anyway? Glad you asked. Independent reading time is a time where students are afforded the opportunity to engage in reading self-selected text for extended amount of time in the ELA classroom. Independent reading can look several different ways in the ELA classroom. It can look like all the children reading self-selected text in their individual reading spots at the same time for about 10 to 30 minutes. It can also be a time where groups or pods of students are reading the same text, but they have their own individual copies. Although there are different models, one thing remains constant. It's that you are allowing time for kiddos to read self-selected books in the reading classroom. So why is independent reading important anyway? Atwell states in the article, Value of Independent Reading, every measure that looks at pleasure reading and its effects on student performance on standardized tests of reading ability and science and math tells us that the major predictor of academic success is the amount of time that a student spends reading. In fact, the top 5% of U.S. students read up to 144 times more than the kids in the bottom 5%. Mic drop. Our jobs as teachers of reading and lovers of literature is to facilitate and instigate the love of reading to our kiddos. So how do we do it? What structures or classroom environment must I have to facilitate a classroom love for reading? Books, books, books. The first thing you'll need to facilitate a love for reading in your ELA classroom is to curate a library. You'll need a classroom library full of books, but don't worry, you can start slowly and build over time. Here's a hint. Check with your local half-price books. If you tell them you're a teacher, they might donate a box of books to your classroom. If you don't have a classroom library, no worries. Schedule a visit to your school library. Have your kiddos check out books from there. Once students have books in their hands, you might think that they know what to do. Don't fall for it. Explicitly teach them what independent reading looks like in your classroom. Teach them what it looks like to be independent reading, and teach them what it sounds like to be reading independently. Lastly, once you have explicitly taught what independent reading looks like in your classroom, and the students are now engaging in reading independently on a daily basis, it's time to build their reading stamina. You can do that by gradually increasing the amount of time that students are afforded the opportunity to read in your classroom. This explicit lesson will go a long way to help facilitate what that time looks like in your classroom. So that's it. Independent reading is an integral component to your ELA classroom. Research says that students who read more score better on standardized tests. Create a culture and foster the love of independent reading in your ELA classroom. And that's your Monday Magic. Check us out next Monday for more instructional strategies and tools that you can use with students. Until next time.